to Gunners.
Thank you, Maggie.
We were just having a conversation about what could potentially be our favorite Magnum rounds.
Yes, because this is, I saw this right when I walked in. I was like, oh, now I like a Desert Eagle. I've never owned one before. But I've always wanted one in this particular caliber, which is, and they're the rarest. So, yeah, what do you think the best caliber is?
Like I said, I am very, very biased. I have a preference for, in handguns, 357 Magnum, which is totally fine with anyone that disagrees. Totally awesome if you do agree as well. But I think I'm biased because I really haven't shot everything that exists, and I haven't played with firearms of every caliber on the planet.
Because you have one of these in 357 Magnum. Because I fired that. Yeah, I did a gun review. I'll put the link here. That was great.
Oh, it's my sweet, sweet baby.
Now, because they make this also, I would say probably the most popular would be the 44 Magnum and 357 Magnum. Not necessarily in the Desert Eagle, but as far as just Magnum rounds go.
50 Action Express. That is the #1 seller on Magnum Research's Desert Eagle. That is the one that everybody asks for. And I think as we were talking about it while we were setting up the shop, isn't that the RoboCop gun?
That's what Brian said. I almost have to go back and watch it again.
I would trust his judgment on that.
Trust his judgment on that too.
I would trust his judgment on that.
Because I had not seen RoboCop since I think it was in movie theaters.
I'm sure I probably saw it at the drive-in and fell asleep at some point during that movie. So.
Well, I've owned a few 357 Magnum revolvers, and I've owned 2 44 Magnum revolvers. And I just find that the 44 Magnum is not as pleasant to shoot as a 357 Magnum. It's a big old bullet too. When you buy a box of 44 Magnums and you're like, that is a big old bullet.
It is.
And it's so expensive in addition to that, as well as kind of hard to find lately still to some degree.
Yes, it is in limited supply. So when we do get our hands on some of it, we try to get as many brands and as much variety for the customers as we obviously can at a price that isn't astronomical.
I think that's why, another reason why I like the 357 Magnum, because it's plenty of power. There's no way you could say the 357 Magnum. You need more than that. It could handle, I think, any large animal in North America for sure.
I definitely would not want to be on the business end of the barrel. I want to be behind the gun with the finger on the trigger, pretty please.
But my appeal to it is not just that I like to shoot it more, but it's that it's easier to get a hold of. It's more affordable. There's more guns that shoot it. Because I don't own any 44 Magnum revolvers now.
I've sold them
all. But I only have the 2, and I owned them at different times. Like I owned one a long time ago before I even had kids. And then as soon as I had kids, I started selling my guns for some reason and narrowed it down to just one. I wish I didn't do that. I did. But,
Can I ask you kind of a personal question?
Sure.
What made you choose 44 Magnum?
It was a Ruger Blackhawk in 44 Magnum, and I just love that. If I was going to buy a Ruger Blackhawk at the time, in my head, I was like, well, it's got to be a 44 Magnum. For whatever reason, it just was in my head.
I kind of wonder.
And then the next 44 Magnum was a Ruger Blackhawk too.
I have to ask because there is a rather famous actor, Clint Eastwood, that movie Dirty Harry, and he quite popularized that 44 Magnum.
Sure.
Did that have any bearing on your decision? Like, I could have a 41 Magnum, or I could have the 44 Dirty Harry style. Oh, yeah.
I think it was, maybe it was, because I knew he did shoot a 44 Magnum. It was one that a Model 29 or something like that. Because doesn't he say it's does he have a line?
He does. He's like, this is a 44. I do not know the exact line. Google will have to look up the line.
In the diner. The diner.
We might have to.
When he no, I know what it is. It's when he finally goes up to that last guy and he tells him what it is, and then I think he says something to the effect of, you know, you're probably thinking to yourself, did he shoot 6 or was it 5? Kind of thing. So you found it here. All right, go for it. You gotta do the Dirty Harry. You want me to do the Dirty Harry line, or
please?
Okay. You don't want to hear. I bet if we put it in the put below, who would you rather hear tell Dirty Harry lines, Mark or Maggie? I guarantee it's Maggie.
I'll be.
Put in the comments below. But I guess you get me today. Next time you got to do the Dirty Harry line.
All right.
Okay, so it says, I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kind of lost track myself of being this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world. Now blow your head clean off. You got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Oh, do you, punk?
That's the line.
That is the line. The 41 Magnum, I'd never heard of that round. The first time I'd heard of it was my dad, or my stepdad had a 41 Magnum revolver. And I never shot that gun, but I remember after him and my mom moved out of the house and they'd left town, I was cleaning out the basement. I came across a box of 41 Magnums. I thought, I never even heard of a 41 Magnum.
I will tell you, after having shot both a 44 Magnum and a 41 Magnum, 44 Magnums are a lot of oomph, a lot of recoil to control, and so much fun to shoot, especially if you like to watch flaming fireballs come out the end of the barrel. 41 Magnum is a delight, is an absolute blissful, darling child of a round after you have shot the 44 Magnum. But the 41 Magnum did come out first. That one is actually pleasant to shoot, and just like with, it seems like Magnum rounds do have kind of a lower pressure special round. 41 has a 41 Magnum and a 41 special, and the 44 as well. So the high pressure 44 Magnum round and a slightly lower pressure 44 special.
I watched a video somebody else did, and they were talking about the 44 Magnum and how they really like shooting 44 special out of it. And that was the first I'd heard of that as well. I love that idea, like, because it's the same. Like, it's great to practice with the 38 special,
right?
You know, I love practicing with it. I wouldn't carry that way, but it's great to practice that way.
It definitely is, but it just makes it a lot more fun, less punishment on your body at the range, and that really is what it is, you know.
Well, and I guess that's kind of why I go back to I like the 357 better. You know, again, for me, it's really more about. I have other revolvers that shoot. You know, it's more of a practical round. But if you're gonna shoot 357 Magnum and you're wanting to just spend an hour or two at the range, that's not necessarily a lot of fun. Unless you can throw in some 38 specials into the equation. Now, if you're trying to practice with your 44 Magnum and you spend a couple hours at the range, I could be wrong, but my guess is after about 30 or 40 rounds, you're like, I kind of need a break from this.
By the time you're at the end of the box of 50 rounds, you're probably like, okay, that was good, but you may have put it through multiple firearms. There are and were
depends on the firearms too.
Options to choose from. They did make rifles chambered in 44 Magnum as well, lever actions.
Well, I think that I don't know. It's obviously a personal preference. You know, if I lived in Alaska and I had to go to the outback quite a bit, I'm sure I would carry a 44 Magnum around. Hanging out around town, probably not so much. But I don't know. Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah.
I guarantee there's people watching us that love 44 Magnum, and they could shoot 1,000 rounds through it all day long. And,
true story.
You know, I guarantee there's that. It's just all just personal thoughts and preferences.
There's probably a good chance that not everybody there that is espousing their love for the 44 Magnum is even guys. There are girls out there that are just as in love.
Sure. I guess in the end, it really is kind of a personal preference. When I saw this today when we were talking, I just thought, oh, there's a 357, the one I've been looking for. I can't afford it, but there it is. And I just kind of thought, well, what is it? You know, because I see the 44 Magnums and the 50 A&Es all the time, but I'm not necessarily interested in it. But I am interested in 357 Magnum one. But I think for me, it's really just the number of guns, the cost, more pleasant to shoot.
Yeah.
But again, I know that's just personal preference. Anybody, put in the comments below the rounds you like best, especially the bigger Magnum rounds. You know,
and we didn't even get started on rifle rounds and Magnum cartridges, and there are a lot to pick from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sincerely a lot. We didn't even get started on rifle rounds and Magnum cartridges, and there are a lot to pick from.
Absolutely.
Sincerely a lot. You know, we didn't even go over the smaller Magnum cartridges.
Like a 22 Magnum?
22 mags. Let's talk about how awesome those are.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic as well.
I really like 22 Magnum quite a bit.
You were looking at the Kel-Tecs that just came out.
Yeah, those are great.
Oh my gosh.
In our 30s.
And the CMR, I'm going to swap out one Magnum for another.
So I really like the 22 Magnum. I definitely would put it in a different Magnum category. It's a bigger Magnums, but
yeah,
it's a great round. It is zipping. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that it's the same. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't realize it's the exact same caliber as your ARs.
Yes.
You know, your 223s and your 5.56s. You know, and so it's like this happy middle. You know, it's way more powerful than a 22 LR, but yet.
No recoil.
No recoil.
Like, zero recoil. It is loud. You will know that went off. It is quite loud. Some would call it obnoxious. It's not as obnoxious. I've heard obnoxious before. This one isn't bad. But yeah, you will want ear protection with these for sure. Like you said, they are a zippy round. They're quite quick.
Oh, yeah. Is there a lot of people making, because I know Taurus is doing a revolver, which is hard to find, by the way. I had one for a while. I got rid of it. But I've been looking. It was one of the ones I thought I should not have gotten rid of that gun. It was 8 rounds of 22 Magnum. It was great, little snub nose. I can't find one online. I mean, they're so hard to find right now. The 942, I think, is what they are.
Yeah. The 22 Magnum, Ruger makes an LCR. They're little lightweight concealed revolver series in a 22 Magnum.
Okay. I guess I didn't know that.
I believe. And Ruger just released the Super Wrangler in 22 Magnum.
That's fine.
So it's coming out.
That's nice. That's the only single action revolver 22 Magnum I'm aware of.
And there are older models as well. Okay. And other companies have made those as well. Charter Arms, I believe. Oh, I would have to triple check that one. Charter Arms, I think,
who is Heritage makes them.
Yeah, Heritage will
I actually
make
have
them
one. I have one.
22 long rifle, 22 Magnum, interchangeable cylinder.
22 Magnum.
Right. So once upon a time ago, Rossi's catalog, there was a rifle with a revolver action called the Circuit Judge. I like to affectionately refer to this blip on the radar, flash in the pan, unusual firearm as the Circus Judge. Because it is absolutely an event to see this thing. But it really is. It's a 22 long rifle revolver action on a rifle, and then it had Taurus's interchangeable cylinder on there, the way they do they have a 22 that has an interchangeable cylinder. And with Magnum in a rifle format, and away you go.
I guess I'm a little surprised more people don't make handguns in 22 Magnum, because I would think that's I mean, the versatility, the size. Is it just that it hasn't caught on, or what do you think it is that a lot of people aren't making them in 22 Mag? Because you can get thousands of 22 LRs.
It is not a common cartridge because you don't really see it in movies or TV enough.
So it's media.
I would probably surmise that it is something that has been forgotten. I guess I shouldn't say forgotten. That's wrong. It hasn't been forgotten. It is still alive and well, and it is... You find it in pockets and in areas, specifically pockets and communities that deal with a lot of varmint pest issues. It is a fantastic pest control varmint round. It is amazing. Take out those nuisances around the house, the property, the farm, the acreage, wherever you may be, or even hunting on conservation land, guided hunts, things like that. 22 mags are pretty awesome.
It seems like, too, the people that are aware of it and have used it, that people love that round. Because people love the 22 LR. So you essentially have this hyped up, ultra powerful 22 LR is really kind of what you have. And so the people that have discovered it, I think, love the heck out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised that there's really not more people making more reasonable carry guns in 22 Magnum.
Well, as long as we have companies like Keltec, modern firearm companies coming out with these nifty looking firearms in semi-auto format, in pistol format, semi-auto, and rifle format, semi-auto. There are bolt action 22 Magnums that are out there. CZ makes a couple of those. There are plenty of other companies out there under the sun. The list will go on and on and on. Just open up a search, type in 22 Magnum, see what comes up. Yeah. Be pleasantly surprised and absolutely delighted until you go to shop and find the ammo.
Well, I love a 22 Magnum. I'm glad we had this conversation because it really is. It's almost like this, for whatever reason, it hadn't caught on. I'm very surprised by it. Feels like there should be tons of revolvers, tons of semi-automatic guns, tons of rifles made in 22 Magnum.
There should be.
Well, hopefully videos like this will bring awareness to it because I think a lot of people just aren't really aware of it because the people I know that anybody that's aware of it loves it.
Yes.
Typically.
Yes, but there are plenty of people that look at it and go 22 and then just turn around and walk away. Like that's all they see and they don't look past that. They're not looking into it. Also, there are people that pass this by because it just doesn't fit the need in their collection. Like it's not something that is currently missing from their collection.
I guess that's why I wish they'd make more like concealed carry guns that are in 22 Magnum. That's what I'd like to see.
All right, all you cool makers out there, not
concealed
just
carry guns.
Yeah, not just the large manufacturers, but the small manufacturers as well. Can I pretty please have a high capacity 22 Magnum revolver,
for concealed carry,
single action, double action? Yes. I think I would. There are a lot of. I'm still on the hunt. I will find one.
Someday somebody's going to make one.
And you will find one as well. Out there somewhere are the perfect guns just waiting for us to adopt them. But there's
not, if anybody knows it, like there's just not a lot of kind of that concealed carry niche in 22 Magnum other than the Taurus revolver, that snub nose, I'd argue you can carry that, but not a lot.
No.
Other than that, and the Ruger, I guess, the LCR, but
yeah, they don't crank them out as often. They just aren't requested as much. People really are, I think, underestimating potentially the damage that a 22 Magnum can cause.
Absolutely.
And it's wicked.
You know, we'd filmed a video about a month ago. It was probably long, because I was on vacation. It was maybe 2 months ago. But we were talking about the surprising style of guns that people were after, that there was these Western style guns that a lot of people are suddenly after. And we, so I'll put the link to that video. But then when I asked you, well, is there a particular ammo that everybody's after right now, handgun ammo, you brought up this caliber, and of course then I thought, well, duh. So what is, like, if a person wants to say right now, what's kind of the handgun caliber? Because you always have your 9mm, your regulars that everybody wants. What's a surprising new one that you're seeing?
The surprising caliber that everyone is after and asking about. Hey, guess what? We got 45 long Colts back in stock. It's making a revival, baby. They're coming back. Hitting the shelves in stores across the country and hopefully closest to you, wherever you may be watching from. So, yes.
Well, and that makes so much sense because if people are after, obviously, the Western style revolvers, I mean, 45 long Colt is probably going to be your most abundant.
You're definitely going to want something that shoots it. I absolutely love the phone calls where people say, hey, on the off chance, and you're going to disappoint me, I already know this, but do you have 45 long Colt on your shelf, cowboy action loads, or you got 45 Colt? Some people call it long Colt, some people call it Colt, some people just call it 45s. However you say it, you're mostly asking for that revolver round, and I got to make some dreams come true, and I got to make some people happy, so that's always a nice
win-win. Yeah,
that's like
everybody wins. Yeah,
awesome kick of sunshine to your day. Hardcore. So
now, a couple months ago when we filmed that video, you were saying there was this trend of people wanting lever action guns and single action revolvers and that kind of thing. That now people have always been after that, but a bigger surge in it. And we kind of talked about why. Are you still seeing that trend? Is that still going on?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
And I love hearing the stories. People are coming in going, I'm getting that lever action. It's just like the one that my relative used to have, my dad, my granddad, or whomever. And I just think that's so cool that to connect a little bit of firearm affection with a relative that you admire. So, that's always pretty cool. I like those stories.
Yeah, because I think had we not had the conversation about the Western style guns making a comeback, and I said, hey Maggie, what's a handgun caliber? It's really popular right now, and you said 45 long Colt. I would really be puzzled by that. I just like it is. It is. I'm really surprised by that, but because knowing that everybody's after these Western style guns. Yeah.
That's a thing. So you obviously want the firearms, or you want to shoot firearms that have ammunition available. So now would be the time to start jumping on those when you do find the ammo available. And now would be the time to pick up a couple extra boxes when you see that they hit the shelf near you. Yes. Wait a minute. I had people looking for turkey loads the other day, and like, oh, it's your last one left. Oh my God, the price. I'm like, yeah, I had to pay to get it here on the shelf. Sometimes you won't like the prices on some of the things that you find. But if you find it, if it exists, and if it's there, you might want to grab it when you see it. Doesn't matter what caliber it is.
Well, I loved hearing that the Western guns were making a comeback because they're always so fun. They were some of the funnest guns to shoot. It's something about that lever action and the single action revolver. It's fun to just make the action work, to be honest, even when you're not shooting it.
So I have a thing that's going on my bucket list, and one of those things is at some point before the end of my days, I will be able to be cool enough to do the John Wayne lever flip reload. But I want the full spin on it, and I might learn to twirl revolvers too. Right now I do not have that skill set. There are some fabulous people out there that do have that skill, and
well, and when people train with these types of firearms, it's amazing what they can achieve. Just incredible what they can achieve with these, because a lot of times people will go a different path because think, well, why would I want a single action revolver, or why, because they're awesome. That's why.
Yeah. Why would I want anything that only has 6 shots? Well, because you aren't planning on pissing off 7 people today.
That's right. Well, Maggie, gosh, that's great. Love hearing it. Surprised by that, but it makes sense to me. Yeah, I totally get it.
Cool beans.
Awesome. Well, hey, we'll just keep talking. We really always appreciate your insight, and thank you so much for it.
Right on. Thanks, Mark. Take care. See you soon, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.